Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are here with Chris Buescher, driver of the number 17 ROUSH Performance Ford Mustang today. Going to hear his thoughts on the upcoming Phoenix race. Chris, it's so great to have you with us. I'll start you off with a softball here. How excited are you to go to Phoenix?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. It's been an exciting start to the season for us. A lot of different racetracks is really the main thing. We've had super speedway, a road course, a really low grip mile and a half, and then we went and had that high grip mile and a half at Vegas. So now we get to go to our first, we'll call it a short track for the sake of distinguishing it a little bit, but it's kind of its own animal there. So we are excited to get down there and try and get a test on where we feel like we're going to stack up here and hopefully have a really good day.
So with this being, like you said, the first short track, and we'll get into that a little bit, how it differs from your other short tracks here, what are the things that you're looking for as you go into this race? You obviously don't have practice, you don't have qualifying, so what kind of data, what past races are you looking at to set the car up, make sure you go into this with the best chance possible on Sunday?
Yeah, so we look at last year's data, obviously, for our first time in the 17 at those races. The first race of the first Phoenix, I should say, we did have practice, and so we were able to go through a handful of changes then. But for the second race, we were on the no practice schedule, right? So I think we're going to look at it as an opportunity to build off of that one. We've made a lot of changes through the offseason that we've seen start to show some progress at some of these other racetracks that we've gone to. So we're definitely hoping a lot of that's going to carry over into Phoenix as well. We spent a lot of time in the simulator running laps and trying to tweak on the setup. Our team's been pretty heavy on that this year, especially trying to make the most out of that tool. Like you said, being that we don't have practice, we gotta make the most of whatever we can, and the simulation in the simulator for that Ford has is some of the biggest tools that we can have, and it's the only way for us to get practice at the moment.
Right, and so all right, I'm going to throw a crazy stat at you, Chris. This is going to be your 11th Cup race at Phoenix. Does that feel strange to you, just having that many laps at a track like this? You're a veteran now.
I don't know about veteran. I'm getting old. I guess that's coming. So, yeah, we've made quite a few starts at Phoenix at this point. So, you would think I'd have it down, but unfortunately, I don't have this one quite figured out yet. So, I'll go ahead and tell you, Phoenix was not my favorite racetrack for a long period of time. It was my least favorite, and it's climbed a little bit, so it's not quite at the bottom now. But it's a very difficult, unique racetrack that I really want to like it, and I think it's a fun place. It creates a very unique race compared to anywhere else we go. It's just not been a racetrack that we've had a ton of success at in the past, and most of us will tell you all it takes is one good race at a racetrack, and it'll be right up there with your favorites. So that's what we plan on doing. As long as we go down there and have a good race and show a lot of speed and a lot of potential, it'll quickly jump right up in the category that I have for some of my racetracks that I'm looking forward to.
So what is it specifically about Phoenix that drives you so crazy? I mean, is it the braking zones, a sort of hybrid, intermediate, short track? What is it that makes it be that far down your list of favorite tracks?
There's a couple different things for Phoenix. The most recent change coming from PJ1 application. So there's always a little bit of unpredictability there with where that's getting laid down, how thick, if they were reapplying between Xfinity races or not. A couple of variables there that have kind of kept me guessing. Turn one is the new turn one. It's just tight center is typically the name of the game. So you're trying to get a turn, you're trying to get pointed down the next straightaway, and then the braking into three has just been a really hard spot for me through the years. I think it's something that really tried to study the drivers such as Harvick that get around Phoenix so well and try and understand what they do so different in the three, but it's hard to pick out, and it's even harder to duplicate. So still working on figuring out what it is that is ailing me when we go to Phoenix. But hopefully this will be the one that you get to come out of there and say, all right, something clicked. We figured it out, and now we're going to take those notes and tweak on it a little bit and have a really solid championship run at Phoenix.
So one of those drivers who does seem to have Phoenix down is your teammate, Ryan Newman. He's got 2 wins at the track, 2 second-place finishes, and 2 third-place finishes. So he's been pretty good there over the years. One of those wins, of course, came with your current crew chief, Luke Lambert. How much are you talking to those 2 guys to get a feel for, what they know about the track, how to get around there?
Yes, obviously with Luke, we've been going through all of the simulation stuff, or I guess the simulation program, and then the simulator that we run as well. We've been going through a lot of that and a lot of information, trying to figure out what it is that we're hunting there. With Ryan, we'll lean on him on that plane ride out there and try and figure out what it is that helps him get around there so well in the past. So, unfortunately, when we did have practice last year for the first race, Ryan was not in the car at that time as he was recovering, and so we don't have a whole lot of notes from that race to really rely on from Ryan's viewpoint. Now, we did have Ross was in the car at that point, and so we were able to go off of some of that as well. But really, it's a matter of trying to talk it through with him a little bit. And like I said, I've studied drivers that have gotten around Phoenix really well through the years, and it's still hard to pick it out. It's still hard to figure out what it is, and even if someone flat out told you exactly how to get around there, it's still hard to duplicate it and actually put it into action. So it's just a tough racetrack, and it's so different than anywhere else we go. So there's not many other places, or there's really no other place that gives you information that that's going to help you become better at Phoenix other than going to Phoenix.
All right, so it's certainly going to be a big challenge this week. Now, for those of us trying to track your progress, we're not going to have any trouble picking you out on the track. I'm going to run a quick video here showing off that beautiful bright orange paint scheme you've got with ROUSH Performance this weekend. I mean, that thing is glowing. It is beautiful. Is this one of your favorite cars you get to run all year?
Yeah, it really is. We got to run this paint scheme, I think, once last year as well, and it picks out of the crowd very easily. To me, I think it looks really neat. It's got some details that'll probably be hard for a lot of people to pick up on from TV, but to make it look more like an actual Mustang, some of the body lines and your door cutouts, handles are all ghosted into the wrap on this car, so it does make it look a little bit more like the actual production Mustang, which I think is really neat. As well as trying to black out some of the boxier parts of our race cars that do not really coincide with the actual production cars, and so you end up with the orange that is on the car looking a little bit more like the production car again. So like I said, it ties together well. It looks more like the real car without doing anything really drastic, but it's very sharp, and definitely look forward to getting that Stage 3 Mustang on track at Phoenix. And I've been pressing really hard to try and get that supercharger put on for this race, but I don't think NASCAR's budged on it. So we're gonna be looking at just naturally aspirated Roush Yates performance under the hood.
Well, that's awesome. We can't wait to see that bright orange Mustang on track here with ROUSH Performance. Everyone, make sure you tune in at 3:30 on Fox. It's going to be a great time. Chris is going to go out and get his first win at Phoenix. We're all super excited to see that. So thank you so much, Chris, for joining us here.
Yep, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Hopefully everyone tunes in and we put on a good show.
So I was born and raised in South Bend, Indiana, and started racing when I was 4.5 years old. Never enjoyed really anything else. Just always been a race fan. And I think that it was just kind of natural for me, having Hot Wheels cars, playing with a slot car track, you name it. It was always about cars and tires and noise and things like that. It just fit. Started off my career at Penske Racing, winning lots of poles, winning lots of races, and we won the Daytona 500, and that was amazing. But I never would have thought that later that same year I would have left that organization because we continued to struggle. I mean, we really struggled to go from as high as we were to trying to stay on the lead lap. One thing most people don't know is I left that team without knowing where I was going. I've always referred to it as the rungs on the ladder, where you're trying to climb up and you never know if there's a rung missing, if you're going to be able to get all the way to the top. That was the doubt. With the crash that I had in Daytona, I don't remember anything about the crash. I don't remember anything being even in the hospital. I literally remember walking out of the hospital with my daughters. I was not functional. Mentally, I don't know what it did to me, but it shut me down. To look at the race car, to look at what I went through, to see my helmet, to see the car, I shouldn't be here. I've learned through this whole experience to be more thankful than I have ever been in my entire life. But the reality is I'm not going to stop racing because there was never anything else. I think belief comes from within. I'm not the kind of guy that goes and sits with his legs crossed, holds his hands up, and waits for it to come to me. I just go work harder. I've always said confidence is more powerful than ability. If I think I can do it, I'll do it. That was the goal, was to be a Cup champion. And I've been close, and I'm not done trying. But the reality is that's still the last rung on the ladder, and then I'll extend the ladder.
Hi guys, Luke Lambert here, crew chief of the 17 Mustang. This is our war wagon. This is what we're going to be taking down to Daytona in a few days. So at the time that you guys are watching this is all getting set up on pit road, and right now we're just getting ready to load it up. This is the part that'll face the racetrack. This is where the guys will stand in front of here before they jump over the wall and make the changes on the car. This will be the area that myself and the engineers will call strategy and observe the race and make some of the decisions during the race. Up top, we'll have laptops and computers, and we'll be getting all kinds of information during that period of time. As we walk around to the back here, this will be an area that most of the guys will convene after the pit stops. We'll bring all the tires back, collect information about the tires, and look at what little pieces of information we can get off of the car after we do a pit stop from looking at the tires and measuring how much fuel we put into the car. So this will be kind of the working area for everybody to put all the information together, look at the pit stop video, and figure out what we can do to be better the next time we come in for a pit stop, so we can kind of readjust and improve our execution as the day goes on. So this hauler is the vehicle that we'll take to all the racetracks. This will be our home away from home when we're headed to the track. This is where we will transport the race cars, all the parts and pieces, and everything we need to have for the race team to execute while we're at the track. Housed within the hauler, we've got everything from pit crew, fire suits, everything that guys will need for safety equipment when they're at the racetrack. Parts and pieces, we pretty much keep in this hauler anything we need to rebuild and repair the race car. When we've got practice and qualifying, that's really important. A lot of the one-day shows we use a lot less pieces because we don't have the opportunity to change them. But on our longer weekends, we have everything prepared in here to make any adjustments or repairs on the race car as necessary. And as you come on down, we've got a couple other areas in here that we can do some stuff. We keep our spare engines. We carry a couple spare engines with us to the racetrack in case we have any problems there. And we also have a workstation back here with a shock dyno and a spring rater where we can do some R&D development and testing while we're at the track on parts and pieces that we want to put on the race car. The shock guys will use this equipment to test some things and give us information we can put in our simulation tools, and then also prepare parts to go on the race car. So with that, I got to get back to work. We got to get ready to go to the racetrack. Appreciate you guys joining us. Enjoy the race and have a good day. See you.